Yeah, right.
All right, you're listening to S. Yolanda in the Know. And do I have a treat for you, viewing audience? I have in on the show today. I have Mamadou Sy with Linco Realtors, and I also have Lori Lindsey. She is a loan expert, and Saundra Moody Gresham, who has Dehan Insurance. And guess what? You're going to find out things that you don't even know on today's show. And that's the reason why we have S. Yolanda in the Know, to keep you in the know. But if you're looking at buying a house or selling a house, I have Linco Realtors on the show today. And Mama Do, why?
Hey,
How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you, Yolanda?
That's great. I'm doing
That's
fine.
good.
But you know what?
Good, good.
should, should I have a realtor looking helping me buy a house? Can I just go around and pick out a house? And what does a realtor do for me?
I mean, it's just like one. There's a wise guy. The wise one actually said that always ask the experts. Okay,
That's right.
and like I tell my clients, it does not cost you anything to get you an expert, a realtor on your side. Okay,
Yeah.
that's going to show you the houses. We have access, to the houses through the MLS and even on the auctions.
Yes.
And yes, we can negotiate the contract for you. We have the
Uh-huh.
know-how, and yeah, we negotiate between realtors and then coordinate the deals with the lenders, the insurance company, the title company. So it's better for you to have an expert on your side than just going by yourself. And it does not cost you anything. It's We
Yeah.
get paid, through the proceed of the sale.
And
So
yes, it's best. You
yes.
know what? You know
Mhm.
what? I had some relatives that said, "Well, I can just go around and look for a house." And guess what? They were sorry later on. I told them, I said, "You need to have a
That's
realtor
right.
looking with you." And boy,
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
thought
Yes,
they
you
could
do.
get on the internet and be automatic experts. But
Right, right. Yeah, especially nowadays, yeah, with the technology, you have YouTube, people they just watch a couple of videos thinking they know
yeah,
the market.
they know
Yeah,
the market. Yeah, but
yeah, it's always
yeah,
better to have an expert, somebody, that's been in the business. I do this full time and I've been
yeah,
doing it for 7 years. I do it all day long and
yeah,
combined, with my broker, we have over 42 years of experience. So
yeah,
hey, and you're getting all of that
yeah.
and more. So
I,
yeah,
I,
why not?
I'm good. Yeah, that's the reason why I got you on the show, because I had, you know what? When the market was real difficult to sell a house, Lincoln
Hmm.
sold a house for me in 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
And it was, and I thought it was going to be difficult. They walked in the house and told me what I needed to do to get it sell, to have it for sale. And the next thing that you know, I was in closing.
That's right. That's right.
You better get an expert, I'm telling you, but don't,
Yes.
you
Yes.
either find out the hard way, and I don't want you to find out the hard way. You find out
No, we don't.
the easy
We
way.
don't want that. We're on your side. We're here
Yeah,
to help
yeah,
and assist you throughout the entire process, and we try to make it smooth as possible. Yes,
uh,
that's what we do.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes. You know what? I understand, even if you're a veteran, that y'all have some special deals for veterans that are going on for people that are wanting to buy their house. I mean, to buy a house, you have something that they can get a loan for if they want $6,000. Is that true? 600,000. I'm sorry.
I mean, Lori may be the expert on that, but there's no limit, on the VA loans. If
Uh-huh.
you if yeah if you have your certificate of eligibility, okay,
Uh-huh.
there's no limit on the VA loan. Yes, and zero down payment and no PMI, which is like that
What's up,
private
Jim?
mortgage insurance.
Uh-huh.
There's none. So yes, all the veterans, yeah, come on board and then let's find you a house.
You can
Let's
find
get you
a
anchored down. Yes.
oh,
You
oh.
served, so you deserve it.
I know that's right,
Uh,
and it's right there for you too.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Zero down. I mean, you cannot beat that. Zero down. And sometimes, the closing costs won't even be that much, for some of the veterans like Lori, maybe may
Okay,
have a program.
Okay. And when I talk to Lori,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask her that. But I want
Uh-huh.
to ask you, when is the best time to buy a house? When is the best time? When do you know I got to have a house? I got to purchase a house. When is it?
When you're ready and able.
How do you know you're ready?
Yes.
What makes you ready?
Okay. Like if you're doing financing, you gotta
Uh-huh.
have, certain credit score. Some
Uh-huh.
of the lenders they may ask, 640 credit score.
Uh-huh.
And if you have a down payment, that's fine. If not, we can help you with down payment assistance if you qualify.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And depending on your family needs, and it's
Mhm.
always a good time to buy a home.
Oh,
Always, depending on
oh,
the person's situation. Yeah.
yeah.
Especially right now here in Central Ohio. Come on, yeah, people need to buy houses in
Okay.
Central Ohio because Intel is coming, jobs, are here, that is growing. People are
Yeah.
moving into Columbus. It's the 14th fastest growing city in the
Uh-huh.
US.
Uh-huh. So this
That
is
tells a
the time
lot.
right
See,
here in Columbus, and
yes, and rent is
uh,
expensive. They keep on increasing rent every year.
oh, tell me
I know
about it.
you guys were trying to put a cap on it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I was trying to put a cap on it, but that was so hard. I think it's better to
Uh-huh.
buy with,
It's better to
yeah,
buy, it's better to own a home,
yeah,
than renting.
you can at least manage your budget a little bit better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You get you a fixed rate, for 30 years.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, the only thing that's going to increase may be insurance and taxes. But other than that, yeah, your payment will be fixed and you're going to be building equity.
All
And
right.
it's your own home. If you feel
Yeah.
like tearing down a wall, so be it. Tear down the
You can
wall.
fix it up with that equity, home equity. But look, all
Home
right,
equity.
now
Yeah.
people need to know that we said ask the experts, y'all. Now, if they need to know more about purchasing a house or what to do, how can they get in contact with you, Mamadou? What's the number that
Well,
they can call you?
614-815-7338. 6
815-614-815-7338. And you can
Yes.
call the experts. All right, now.
That's right.
That he was talking about buying a house and getting finance, and I understand you are the expert on trying to put loans together and everything, that you
Hmm.
got that magical touch. But what do you have to do to be able to get a loan for a house? What scores do you have to have? Credit score.
Is
Lori
that question for me or for Lori?
or Lori? Lori?
Okay. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how you? Just fine, just fine. Lori, what
Good.
credit score do you need to have to purchase
So
a
credit scores are going to vary depending on which lender you work with.
house?
Each lender may have their own minimum credit score,
Uh-huh,
depending on the product, depending on the type of loan they were doing.
uh-huh,
So if you just want a general answer on a conventional loan, and this
uh-huh,
is across the board, you must have at least a 620 credit score.
okay,
Um, and then the other loans, the governing authority on them does not say that you have to have a minimum credit score, but each lender will definitely have their own minimum scores that they will feel comfortable doing.
okay. So they have different scores for different prices, or is just what
For,
they feel comfortable with?
correct. For different products, I will say it that way.
Uh-huh.
Whether and for which your scenario is, it can be based specifically on that type of loan or the type of product in which you're doing.
Okay. And they say you have all kinds of different products. I know the FHA, VA, and all that. Could you explain those to us? The kind of products
There,
you have?
There are four basic types of loans. You have a USDA loan, and that's if you're looking to purchase a home out in the country, out in a rural area.
Mhm.
That product is the home has to be specifically designated USDA by the Department of Agriculture.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that loan is also 100% financing, so no down payment and no PMI.
Mhm.
But it is also income based. There are a lot of requirements in that. Next, you have and that is a
My Lord, what's when you say PMI?
PMI stands for private mortgage insurance.
Oh,
And
okay.
PMI, it is an insurance. It doesn't benefit you as the buyer. It protects the lender in case the buyer defaults on its loan.
Oh, okay.
And it is something that is on the loan and for a period of time.
Okay. Now, do we purchase that, or that's just
That's
in the loan?
It's in the monthly payment, and your monthly payment consists
okay.
of your principal and interest, your real estate taxes, and home insurance, and PMI.
Okay, okay.
And then you have your FHA loan, which is
Uh-huh.
the government-backed loan also.
Mhm.
FHA loan, minimum credit score is 3.5%. And there is minimum down payment is 3.5% on that one. And there is, similar to PMI, they have MIP. Same letters, different order, means the same thing. Mortgage insurance premium. Also protects the lender. And you have the VA loan. And the VA loan is for veterans or the surviving spouses of veterans. There's no money down on a VA loan, and there is no PMI on a VA loan. Important to note, though, on a VA loan, it again is only for veterans and or surviving spouse of the veterans, veterans and their spouses. I get a question a lot of times, can I get a VA loan with my parent or with my partner? And you cannot. It is for that veteran and their spouse or surviving spouse. And then you have a conventional loan. And a conventional loan minimum down payment is 3% for first-time home buyers, or 5% if you are not a first-time home buyer. And that one will have that PMI on there. But there are also other conventional types of loans that lenders offer where there is no money down.
Okay. I was going to ask you that. Yeah, okay.
Yes, there are some lenders that have programs that require no money down and no PMI. So,
but do you have to have a good credit score to get that with no down?
No. No, but more important than a credit score is the credit picture. So that is when I'm speaking with clients, that is where my focus is. It's not necessarily where that score is, but what does your credit history look like? What's on your credit score? You could have a lower credit score because you don't have much credit, but that doesn't mean that you're a risk compared to someone that has a lower credit score because of bad credit history. So it could be a yes for one of those and a no for the other, depending on what that credit history looks like, no matter where their score is.
So you can look at that and possibly help them. You know, they can possibly get a loan without a down payment and move into their own house. And they can call you and get some more information, can't they?
Yes.
All right. Now, how can they get in touch with you?
I can be reached at 614-361-4014.
361-360.
614. 361. 4014.
4014. All right now. So if you have any more questions about lending, about getting a loan for your house, you know, now's the time you can buy a house now. You want to call Lori. She's an expert. Call the experts. Don't you know, save some time and call the experts. But guess what? I got an expert that's been around, and I have used their services. It's been around for a long time, and her name is Saundra Moody Gretsham. Saundra, how are you today?
Just fine. Thank you for having me.
That you are in the insurance business, and when you're buying a home, you have to have insurance, correct?
Yeah, as long as you have a mortgage on it.
So
if you don't have a mortgage, it's your option, but it's certainly encouraged.
Yeah, you want to have that. You know, you definitely want to have that. So, you know, before you get the insurance, do you go out and inspect the house, and what are you looking for when you inspect the house before you issue the insurance policy?
Yeah. So often one of our agents or producers will drive by on new purchases. We often get that information from the lender, or the realtor will provide us, you know, the information and background on the homes. But it's the outside of the house, in the backyard, the garage. Once the coverage is placed in force, the insurance companies generally will do an inspection. So they will drive by, and again, they don't come inside your home. They're just driving by and looking at the front, the back, and the garage. And many carriers are doing using drones to take pictures of the roofs, areas of the homes as well. So that's, just to make sure it's well kept. There's no risk present there. And oftentimes if the insurance company's inspection show there's a issue, let's say, a gutter is a little wobbly, or there needs to be there's a tree hanging over the roof. So they give you time often to correct those issues and then continue to maintain the coverage.
Okay. So and how long, like if I pay right now for insurance, am I covered right then, the same day?
Yes. Generally the insurance agent or broker can bind the coverage. Oftentimes if it's a new purchase, the premium will be paid at the closing and then sent to the insurance company. So coverage can be effective the date of closing, or it may be effective prior to the date of closing. But as long as either the purchase owner has to pay for the coverage, or it's paid at the time of closing.
Okay. So, Now, do the insurance that you have, is it, some people don't get flood insurance. Do we need flood insurance in Ohio?
So that's a good question. The federal government has established what they call these flood zones, which are areas that are prone to flooding. But the reality is, if it can rain, it can flood.
That's
so
right.
Wherever it rains, it floods, right?
Yeah.
So what tends to happen, the lenders and mortgage companies will require flood insurance if you're in a flood zone. Right? If you're outside of the flood zone, it's your prerogative, right? But if you live near a body of water, a lake, a stream, and there historically there's flooding, you may want to consider it. Right. More of the flood losses have been outside of flood zones. All of the rain that we've been getting around the country here lately, we're seeing flood happen. I mean, and you may remember pictures, over the last few years, as flooding is getting to rooftops, right? And certainly the lower and first levels of property. But it is, if that home is not in a flood zone, you're not required to have flood insurance. However, it just may be prudent, right? Just especially if you're on you have a ranch or one's floor, and if there's flooding happening. So, and I want to share quickly the definition of flood from an insurance standpoint. If there's at least 2 acres or 2 properties that are covered by excess water, right? And normally dry land. Okay, so we can see that at any time, right? It denotes a flood. So no, it's not required unless it's in a flood zone, but it's certainly something more and more homeowners are considering.
I think it's better to be safe than sorry,
And your homeowner's policy does not cover flood. So that's the other important thing.
But do you pay extra to get that, right?
Correct. It's a separate policy in addition to your homeowner policy.
Oh, I see. It's a separate. I thought it was all into the policy, but it's a separate one.
It's a separate policy because your traditional homeowner policy does not cover flood damage or losses due to flood.
I see. But what about sewage? Is that's covered in your policy, right?
So there's what's called backup sewer and drains coverage that can be added to your homeowner policy. It's often a rider or an additional coverage. Some carriers may bake it in, but it's oftentimes it needs to be added, right? You have to request it. And so that provides coverage if your sump pump backs up or excess water or overflow from a sewer is coming into your basement. So it could be caused by a flood, right? but it's a different line of coverage. It specifically has to be caused due to excess water from the sewer coming into your house.
Okay, now do you get canceled if you have when you have to use your insurance in emergency? Some of the insurance companies cancel you, and you have to go out looking for another insurance policy.
So I mean, we buy this insurance for protection, right?
Yeah,
if something goes wrong, insurance companies don't necessarily cancel you right after a claim. And even if you're going to get notice of cancellation, you have 30 days prior to that. Or notice, it's also called non-renewal, which means you get to the end of your policy term and they're saying we don't want to carry you after that period. So you usually got 30 to 45 days. Insurance companies look at incidences and frequency. Right. So if you have a claim every year, or if you have in 1 year, you've had 2 or 3 claims. So they're looking at frequency, they're looking at severity, how severe that claim is. But if you have a claim, you know, every 5-10 years, it's not likely that you're going to be canceled. If you have multiple claims and consecutive in 1 or 2 years, they're likely going to get off of that because you kind of deemed a high risk. So, but that's important. And I think oftentimes people don't know how to use the insurance. We often get calls where, you know, they have an old roof and now it's starting to leak. But that could be that your roof is 30 years old and you haven't replaced it. So insurance doesn't pay for maintenance, right? You got to do your own upkeep on insurance. And then if you carry low deductible, so if claims are over 1,000 and you carry $1,000 deductible, you know, that's when you want to use your insurance. If you have a small claim and it's a few $100s, you don't want to call the insurance company for that. You want to address that so that that's not showing up as an incident. When you call, even if that expense or that claim was under your deductible, it's triggered as an incident, even though the insurance company didn't pay you anything and you had to pay it because it was under your deductible. So you want to minimize using your insurance for really small claims, and then certainly repetitively, right? But we know stuff happens. Sometimes it just happens. In all the storms we're getting, you could have had 2 incidences in a year. But so they're looking at frequency.
Okay, we only have a few minutes, but could you tell us how they can contact you, Saundra, if they want to know more? Call the experts now. If they want to know more about insurance, how can they get in contact?
Sure. So our office number is 614-238-3520. And they also can go to our website, Dehan, DEHAN, insurance.com.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank all you experts, housing experts, for being on this week's program of S.Yolanda in the Know. And I'll see you out there next week. Love you, and you can't do anything about
it. Thank you.
Thank you.